Good morning and welcome to Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start straight away with the headlines this morning. Last day of campaigning for the final phase of Assam elections and part 2 of the phase 1 of Bengal elections today. Global economic body OECD calls special session of countries on the 13th of April in Paris to firm up cooperation between nations in the wake of Panama Papers leak, while the wide political fallouts of the revelations continue as well. Prime Minister says centre working on permanent solution to drought as central teams head to drought-hit areas to assess availability of water. Medical services in Latur in Maharashtra hit due to water shortage. Key suspect in last year's Paris attacks arrested by Belgian authorities. Investigators trying to determine his connection with the Brussels bombing as well. And belligerent North Korea says it has successfully tested engine designed for an intercontinental ballistic missile. Pyongyang says it guarantees ability to launch nuclear strike on the United States. First, all the election-related news in our special segment, Verdict 2016. Well, it is the last day of campaigning for the second phase of assembly elections in Assam and the second part of the first phase of elections in West Bengal that will be held on the 11th of April. Candidates and political parties are carrying out meetings and door-to-door visits, making every possible effort to woo the voters with promises of all-round development and providing safety and security to the common people. 61 seats go to the polls in the second phase, in which 523 candidates will contest. Guwahati, Lower Assam and Bodoland areas will vote in the final phase. Congress is contesting in 57 seats, while the BJP is contesting on 35 and its allies on 19 seats. Alliance partner BPK is fighting on 10 seats. The second part of the first phase of polling in West Bengal will also take place on the 11th of April. Voting will take place on 31 seats. 163 candidates are in the fray for this phase, in which 70 lakh people are expected to exercise their vote. And all the other election-related stories in this quick election wrap. Hours after Tripura's Congress Legislator Party leader Sudeep Roy Burman resigned over his party's alliance with the Left Front in West Bengal, 4 other Congress leaders also quit the party on Friday. Sitting MLA Ashish Saha, State Youth Congress President Sushant Chaudhary, West Tripura Lok Sabha constituency's Youth Congress President Vicky Prasad and East Tripura Lok Sabha seat's Youth Congress Chief Rantu Dev resigned from their posts. The Election Commission appointed special surveillance teams have recovered illegal cash of over 52 crore rupees from 5 states facing assembly polls, with Tamil Nadu leading the list, following total seizures of 21.4 crore rupees. Assam is second on the list with 11 crore 63 lakhs. In Kerala, the figure stands at 9 crore 65 lakh in fact, while 9 crore 3 lakh rupees have also been seized in West Bengal. Puducherry has seen seizures of 60 crore 88 lakh rupees. Senior party leader P. Chidambaram is among 27 members of the Tamil Nadu Pradesh Election Committee, which was announced by the All India Congress Committee. Besides PCC Chief EV KS Ilangovan, the committee also has several former union ministers, including Manishankar Iyer and R. Prabhu. Congress is part of the DMK-led front in the poll-bound state and has been allotted 41 seats. Malayalam film director Raju Senan is among the 23 BJP candidates whose names have been announced for the 16th May Kerala Assembly polls. With the announcement of the third list of candidates, the party has so far declared 96 out of the total 140 seats. The BJP has joined hands with the political wing of influential SNDP, which draws its support from the numerically strong Isawa community. The Election Commission has requested RBI to provide inputs on their estimation that cash worth 60,000 crore rupees may be in circulation in 4 poll-bound states. Chief Election Commissioner Naseem Zaidi also cited an SBI statement in this regard and said action is being taken. And shifting focus to some other news, Home Minister Rajnath Singh held a meeting with top officials on Friday to discuss the fallout of Pakistan's refusal to allow an NIA team to visit that country to further probe the Pathankot attack. Now, India had countered Pakistani High Commissioner Abdul Basit's claim that there was no deal on reciprocity. More details in this report.
Home Minister Rajnath Singh called a meeting of top officials, including NSA Ajit Doval, on Friday to discuss the security situation in the country. The meeting comes on the back of Pakistan denying permission to an NIA team to visit the country in connection with the Pathankot attack probe. Pakistan High Commissioner Abdul Basit had said on Thursday that the visit of a Pakistani joint investigation team to India was not based on reciprocity, but more about extending cooperation.
I think at present it is suspended. So let's see if we are able to commence the dialogue process. This whole investigation is not about the question of reciprocity in my view. It is more about extending cooperation, or our two countries cooperating with each other to get to the bottom of the incident.
Basit's remarks came as a blow to India, as it had expected that Pakistan would allow NIA investigators to visit the country. The MEA countered Basit's statement, saying before the Pak JIT's visit, both sides had agreed that it would be on the basis of reciprocity.
पाकिस्तान का जो हाई कमिश्नर इंडिया में है, उन्होंने जो कहा वो गलत कहा है, और उससे दोनों देशों के बीच में संबंध है, उसमें कोई मदद नहीं मिलेगा। इसलिए इस तरह का बातें नहीं करना चाहिए जिससे दोनों देशों के बीच में संबंध में कोई गड़बड़ी हो। इसलिए सोच समझ करके कहना चाहिए।
Meanwhile, the BJP-led NDA government has come in for a lot of criticism from opposition parties over what they call is a failure of bilateral ties.
It is adding insult to injury that they and not us are the ones who suspend the peace talks after doing nothing on Pathankot. So I think the government has messed it up completely. There cannot be a bigger mess up. Pakistanis are to blame is not in doubt. But what about the government of India unfortunately playing into their hands?
समय है जब पाकिस्तान के रिश्तों को लेकर के भारत सरकार को, प्रधानमंत्री को और विदेश मंत्री को, समूचे विपक्ष को विश्वास में लेकर के नई रणनीति तैयार करनी चाहिए.
Meanwhile, the US has urged India and Pakistan to hold talks to reduce tensions. It believes that both sides will benefit from practical cooperation. The US's response came just hours after Basit announced that the bilateral peace process stands suspended. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And amidst all this, the NIA has secured non-bailable arrest warrants against Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar, his brother Abdul Rauf and two others for allegedly conspiring to carry out terror strike on the strategic Indian Air Force base in Pathankot. A special NIA court based in Mohali issued the open-ended non-bailable warrant against Azhar, his brother, main handlers Kashif Jan and Shahid Latif for allegedly entering into a criminal conspiracy with JEM terrorists for carrying out a terror strike in India. The warrant was issued after weighing the evidence presented by NIA before it, which included telephonic conversation between the terrorists and the Jaish handlers like Jan and Latif. Now, the video of Rauf, brother of Azhar, was also presented before the court. The non-bailable warrant will be sent to Interpol. India had built a strong case for proscribing Azhar as a terrorist at the United Nations, but the move was vetoed by China. Meanwhile, Beijing has said that it was in close communication with India over its decision to block New Delhi's bid to have Pakistan-based terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar designated as terrorist by the United Nations. China has said that it is opposed to all forms of terrorism and is willing to step up pragmatic cooperation with all countries. And Pakistan's top diplomat Sartaj Aziz was left red-faced when the Afghan ambassador Omar Zakliwal accused Islamabad of being the main hurdle in achieving peace with the Taliban. The Afghan envoy also blamed the tensions in bilateral ties for the lack of progress in the long-stalled peace process. He was speaking at a panel discussion at the Jinnah Institute in Islamabad. Zakliwal said there was a need for genuine and frank dialogue between Afghanistan and Pakistan for peace to prevail on both sides. The Afghan envoy reminded Pakistan that elements supporting violence in Afghanistan continue to use Pakistani territory. Meanwhile, Aziz said nobody can dictate terms to the Afghan government or the Afghan Taliban for reconciliation. He said the Quadrilateral Coordination Group, which includes Afghanistan, China, Pakistan and the United States, would have to collectively decide how to deal with elements refusing to join the peace process. Now, even after multiple talks, the 4 members have so far failed to convince the Taliban to talk peace with the Kabul government. And in the other big international news of the day, a big breakthrough for the Belgian authorities investigating the Brussels terror attacks. They've arrested at least 5 people on Friday, one of them also being a key suspect in last year's Paris attacks. Investigators are now trying to determine whether Mohamed Abrini, that's the name of the man, is the man in the hat seen in an airport surveillance video moments before one of the 2 deadly terror attacks in Brussels. Now, the arrests on Friday mark a signal of success for the Belgian security services, which have faced fierce criticism at home and also abroad since the terror attacks in Brussels that claimed 32 lives.
Mohamed Abrini, the only remaining key suspect in November's Paris terror attacks, was arrested on Friday in Brussels. Several of his associates, allegedly involved in last month's bombings in Brussels, have also been taken into custody by Belgian authorities.
Mohamed Abrini was arrested at Place Albert in Anderlecht. At the same moment, 2 other persons have been arrested. Fingerprints and DNA of Abrini were retrieved not only in the safe houses in Rue Max Roos Schaarbeek and Rue de Ries, Forêt, but also in the vehicle Renault Clio that was used during the Paris attacks.
As per the Belgian media, Abrini is likely to be the man in the hat seen on CCTV footage before the bomb blast at the Brussels airport departure hall on 22nd of March. Another suspect, Osama K, will also be investigated over the bomb attack on the metro that followed the airport bombing. Prosecutors say Osama was filmed in Brussels buying sports bags, which were used to hide the airport and metro station bombs.
The investigation into the Paris attacks has shown that Osama K was picked up in Ulm, Germany, and brought to Belgium on October 3, 2015 with a rental car hired by Salah Abdeslam. The investigators are now verifying whether Osama K can be positively identified as being the second person present at the time of the attack in the Maalbeek subway station.
Abrini and Osama are suspected of playing a key role in 2 of the biggest attacks carried out by the Islamic State group in Europe over the past year, killing 130 people in Paris and 32 in Brussels. 31-year-old Abrini is a Belgian national of Moroccan origin. He was filmed at a petrol station with Salah Abdeslam, the other suspect arrested in the Paris attacks just 2 days before the attacks in Brussels. Abrini and brothers Salah and Brahim Abdeslam were all childhood friends from Brussels. In the last 1 year, Abrini is also believed to have travelled multiple times to Syria and Birmingham, meeting with several men suspected of terrorist activity. Following the arrests on Friday, Belgium has once again been put on high alert. Security measures have been stepped up at all major transport hubs. Even in France, undercover police officers have been deployed on trains and buses to prevent future attacks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And tracking the latest developments from the Panama Papers leak, the global economic body OECD has called a special session of countries, including India, on the 13th of April in Paris to firm up cooperation between countries in the wake of the Panama Papers disclosures. About 500 Indians have figured for holding offshore assets in the tax haven nation. India adheres to a number of OECD norms for strengthening overseas tax cooperation and also exchange of information. At the first meeting of a specially constituted multi-agency group of probe agencies held in New Delhi on Thursday, it was decided to approach the global body along with another similar forum, FATF, for support in this regard. Now, a final decision on India's representation will be taken by the government. Criticism of the government by the opposition continue, with Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi questioning Prime Minister Narendra Modi's silence over the matter. The CPIM has sought confiscation of illegal assets of those named in the Panama list.
अब यहाँ पे चुनाव में आए हैं, उन्होंने आपको वायदा किया कि मैं काला धन वापस लाऊंगा, तो एक शब्द तो कहना चाहिए, उन्होंने एक ये तो समझाना चाहिए कि मेरा जो छत्तीसगढ़ का चीफ मिनिस्टर है उसके बेटे का वहां पे अकाउंट है, उसके बारे में कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं कर रहा हूं, वो तो कहना चाहिए। ये भी कहना चाहिए कि 15 लाख रुपए क्यों नहीं ला पाए।
When this matter came out, immediately the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi ji, called for a meeting. The finance minister is on record, even as recent as today, that action will be taken and no guilty person will be spared. This is not like the Congress party's UPA time, where scams were undertaken, scams were hidden by the government, and it took the Supreme Court to cancel licenses whenever these mega scams happened. So if anyone, no matter who that person is guilty of breaking the laws of India, action will be taken.
इसमें कई नाम ऐसे लोगों के भी हैं जो भाजपा के नेताओं के करीब हैं, इसलिए अरुण जेटली ही मस्ट कम क्लीन ऑन इट कि किसी के सबके खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जाएगी और किसी को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा.
And on to the international fallout of the Panama leak. Argentine President Mauricio Macri's ties to the Panama Papers has become a talking point, with the president sending documents to court to clarify his case. Macri said he has nothing to hide as a federal prosecutor called for an investigation. British Prime Minister David Cameron is under pressure to come clean over personal financial affairs after his father was named in the Panama Papers. Cameron admitted after initially denying that he did benefit from his father's offshore funds. Criticism of Cameron also coming from the French foreign minister. China has said it needs more clarifications on the revelations after the documents pointed at offshore companies linked to the families of Chinese President Xi Jinping. Thailand, on the other hand, is investigating 16 people, including current and former politicians and well-known business people whose names appeared in the Panama Papers. With that, time for a short break here on Breakfast News. More updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
I'm Amritan Shura and you're watching Constitutionally Yours.
पॉलिटिकल विल इज ऑल्सो मिसिंग.
अगर आप देखेंगे तो लिटरेसी रेट बहुत बढ़ी है. यहाँ पे हम लोग कॉन्सोलेशन प्राइज नहीं दे रहे.
चाइल्ड लेबर इज हेवीली रिक्वायर्ड. सो हाउ टू टैकल दैट प्रॉब्लम?
इफ देयर इज वायलेशन ऑफ एनी प्रोविजन, एनी लॉ, जुडिशियल विल टेक एक्शंस.
Join us as we try to understand contemporary issues related to the Constitution. Watch Constitutionally Yours on Rajya Sabha television.
Thanks for staying with us. News now from the States. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that his government is working on a plan to irrigate parched farmlands in order to arrive at a permanent solution to drought in many parts of the country. He said this while addressing an election rally in Assam. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Northern Karnataka, Southwestern Uttar Pradesh have been under the grip of severe water crisis. Meanwhile, Central Water Commission teams will be sent to drought-affected areas across the country to assess the availability of water and prepare reports based on the information collected. Union Minister Uma Bharti said that one such CWC team is already visiting water-starved Latur district in Maharashtra. Her comments come in the wake of criticism of the Maharashtra government over its use of water for the ongoing IPL, while several districts in the state are parched. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, however, said no potable water is being used for IPL. Meanwhile, one of the two goods trains carrying 50 tank wagons of water for drought-affected areas of Latur departed from Kota. This comes as Ramkund, the sacred bathing ghat on Godavari in Nashik, went dry for the first time in 139 years. The situation in Latur is so grim that hospitals are facing water shortage badly, which is affecting medical facilities. And a scorching heat wave continues to persist over central and southern India, with over 100 people reported killed in only Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Temperatures have risen to over 40 degrees in many parts of the region, including in Odisha and Madhya Pradesh, which have been experiencing drought for the third consecutive year.
Blistering heat, temperatures touching 40 degrees and above. The weather is taking a toll in central and southern India. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have already reported over sunstroke-related 100 deaths. Kadapa and Prakasam districts of Andhra Pradesh and Medak and Warangal districts in Telangana are the worst affected.
It is very hot today. Vijayawada is on blaze. We are unable to take our children to the school even. People are feared to come out from the homes. And more of the people are dehydrated and going to die.
The Met Department is predicting no respite. The government is taking precautionary measures, advising public and construction workers to stay indoors between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Oral rehydration salts and intravenous fluids are being provided at public places in Andhra Pradesh. In Madhya Pradesh, the schools have been told to shut down by 1 p.m. In Odisha, heat wave alert has been sounded in coastal areas. Meanwhile, West Bengal and Jharkhand have also seen a rise of 2 to 3 degrees in last 48 hours. Weather officials attribute the early onset of heat to the after effects of the El Nino weather phenomenon that caused poor monsoon last year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Up north, the Uttarakhand High Court today deferred to 18th April a hearing on the ongoing political crisis in the state. This in fact happened yesterday. This was after 9 disqualified Rebel Congress MLAs sought adjournment on the ground that their counsel was not available. This attracted strong remarks from the High Court bench that included Chief Justice K.M. Joseph and Justice V.K. Bisht. The bench said it had been made clear to the Rebel MLAs yesterday that the hearing will take place. Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi will now open the argument on behalf of the central government on the 18th of April. The court also extended till then the operation of an earlier order, keeping on hold the direction of the single-judge bench that the floor test should be held to decide the majority of the government. In neighbouring Jammu and Kashmir, the situation remains grim for the 4th day in a row. Fresh protests rocked the NIT campus in Srinagar as outstation students took out a march to press for their demands. Meanwhile, the state government has assured security to the students of the institute. A time-bound probe has also been ordered into the violence.
It was the 4th day of protests by outstation students at Srinagar NIT. They were stopped by security forces from venturing out of the gates. Anxious parents claimed on Friday that they couldn't contact their wards. The students are demanding that their institute be shifted from Kashmir and action taken against policemen who lathi charged them.
ये सरासर गलत है। ये हमारे बच्चों पर अत्याचार कर रहे हैं। ये किसी तरीके से उनको फंसाना चाहते हैं। ये ना हमारी गवर्नमेंट कुछ कर रही है, ना कोई सेंटर से कोई आया। तो हमारे बच्चे 10 दिन से वहाँ कैद पड़े हुए हैं, ना उनको उनकी कोई खाने पीने का भी अच्छा प्रबंध नहीं हो रहा।
बात तो हो रही है, पर वो भी इतने डरे हुए हैं, हम भी इतने डरे हुए हैं। ये हमें ये डर लगता है हमारे बच्चों से कहीं कुछ और ना हो जाए जो हम बर्दाश्त ना कर पाए, इसलिए हम चाहते हैं हमारे बच्चों को सही सुरक्षा जो भी ठीक ठाक सब कुछ करें।
So the first of all is that the students should be evacuated as early as possible. So they should be sent to their homes. So the second one is, and these are non-negotiable demands. The second one is that the NIT campus to be shifted to any other part of India.
On Friday, Home Minister Rajnath Singh discussed the situation with NSA Ajit Doval. The state government insists that full security will be provided to outstation students.
All their concern with regard to their academic career shall be addressed. So far as the security is concerned, that's our concern. That's my concern. I'm saying it personal, that I'm taking personal interest.
No, as far as NIT is concerned, we have been given to understand by the state government that it would take to task all those who've been responsible for having caused violence against students, which we believe was unwarranted. An inquiry, I believe, has been instituted, and they would submit the report and fix the responsibility.
The opposition, however, has been unrelenting in its criticism of the manner in which the government has handled the situation.
ऐसे में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो दोहरापन और दोगलापन है वो पूरी तरह से एक्सपोज होता है। मैं ऐसी अपेक्षा करता हूं, हमारी पार्टी ऐसी अपेक्षा करता है कि एनआईटी में जो देशभक्त छात्र हैं उनके हितों की, उनके भावनाओं की रक्षा होनी चाहिए और छात्रों के साथ खिलवाड़ नहीं होना चाहिए। और अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी उन छात्रों के हितों की रक्षा नहीं कर पा रही है तो कश्मीर में सत्ता में रहने का कोई हक नहीं उनको।
एनआईटी में शांति प्रयास स्थापित करने के प्रयास होने चाहिए। वहां पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है और उसके रहते देश विरोधी नारे लगे और कश्मीर से बाहर के छात्रों के साथ बदसलूकी हुई, बीजेपी को इस पर अफसोस जाहिर करना चाहिए।
Tension has been simmering in the NIT campus since last week when clashes broke out following celebrations over India's loss to the West Indies in the World T20 semi-finals. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving on to the international front, North Korea claims to have successfully tested an engine designed for an intercontinental ballistic missile. As per its state agency, this new type of engine would guarantee the ability to launch a nuclear strike on the US mainland. The test was conducted at the country's long-range missile launch site near its west coast. and is the latest in a series of tests and launches carried out by Pyongyang this year. In March, North Korea had said it had developed nuclear warheads small enough to fit on ballistic missiles. Leader Kim Jong-un himself supervised the test. The Korean Central News Agency quoted Kim as saying that the North can now tip intercontinental ballistic missiles with more powerful nuclear warheads that could keep the United States mainland within striking distance and reduce them to ashes. The recent test comes in the wake of indiscriminate threats by Pyongyang to carry out nuclear strikes on the US and its ally, South Korea. Some other international developments in this quick world wrap. At least 22 people died in Peru after a bus driver lost control of the vehicle and plunged into a river outside the city of Cusco. The bus was headed to Cusco, but it went off the cliff and plunged into the Mapaco River. According to authorities, most of the passengers were local residents who were heading back home to vote in Sunday's presidential election. Italy has recalled its ambassador to Egypt for consultations after Egyptian investigators in Rome failed to provide evidence needed to solve the mystery of the murder of an Italian student in Cairo. Regeni, a 28-year-old student, had vanished from the streets of Cairo on the 25th of January. His body was then discovered in a ditch on the outskirts of the Egyptian capital on the 3rd of February, showing signs of extensive torture. Egypt and Saudi Arabia have announced that a bridge connecting the two countries would be built across the Red Sea. The Saudi King Salman hailed the new bridge as a historic move which links the African and Asian continents. Saudi Arabia is expected to sign a $20 billion deal to finance Egypt's oil needs for the next 5 years. And on to sports news. The 9th edition of the Indian Premier League got off to a glitzy start with performances from several Bollywood celebrities and international bands. The 2-hour-long event was less spectacular as compared to the previous editions, but the cine stars still managed to put up an entertaining show, enthralling the gathering at the Sardar Vallabhbhai Stadium at the National Sports Club of India in Mumbai. Bollywood actors Ranveer Singh, Katrina Kaif, Jacqueline Fernandez and Punjabi rapper Yo-Yo Honey Singh, West Indian cricketer Dwayne Bravo, kept the audience glued to their seats during the opening gala, attended by the BCCI top brass, franchisee team owners, players and support staff of all the 8 participating teams. The IPL matches in Maharashtra have been criticised considering the drought situation in the state. However, after the High Court ruling, the opening match between Mumbai Indians and new outfit rising Pune Supergiants will take place as scheduled on Saturday at the Wankhede Stadium. And ace Indian shuttler Saina Nehwal sealed the semi-final spot with a hard-fought victory in the Malaysia Open tournament. World number 8 Saina recovered from a game deficit to beat Thailand's Ponte Buaranpongsuk 19-21, 21-14, 21-14. The Olympic bronze medalist will next meet Tai Tzu Ying of the Chinese Taipei. Saina has a 5-8 record against the shuttler, who has beaten the Indian in their last 5 meetings, including in last month's All England Championship. In the other quarterfinal, it was curtains down for PV Sindhu, who crumbled under pressure to bow out of the women's singles. The 2-time World Championship bronze medalist lost to Thailand's Ratchanok Intanon in straight games 7-21, 8-21. This was Sindhu's 4th defeat to the Thai girl in their 5 meetings. And that's all we have time for in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.